Today, let's talk about an idea, a really simple one actually, that could totally change the way you see yourself. It all starts with a powerful metaphor for who you really are. I mean, have you ever felt just trapped? Trapped by a label, by a past mistake, or by some personality trait you desperately wish you could change? Yeah, it's a feeling I think most of us know pretty well. So to get a handle on that feeling of being stuck, we're gonna look at this amazing image, this ancient idea. And it all starts with something super simple, a river. Okay, so picture a river, right? You've got the Nile, the Amazon, they have names, they flow in a certain direction, kind of like us, right? We have a name, a life story. On the surface, it all seems pretty solid, pretty easy to define. But hang on, if you really look closer, is a river ever this fixed, static thing? I mean, seriously, can you step into the exact same river twice, right? No way. The answer's no. A river isn't something, it's a process. The water you see one second is gone the next. Totally new molecules are flowing by. And its shape? That's completely up to the riverbed, the weather, everything around it. There's no solid, permanent river you can point to, just the act of flowing. And here's the kicker. That story, the one about the constantly changing, totally interconnected river, well, that's your story. You are the river. And the parallels are, wow, they're actually kind of startling when you lay them out. Just like the river's water is always changing, your body's cells are always renewing themselves. And just like a river needs the land and the rain to even exist, you depend completely on things outside of you. The air you're breathing right now, the food you ate, the people in your life. You're not this isolated, self-contained unit. And look, this isn't just some nice philosophical idea. This is straight up biology. It takes about 7 years, just 7 years, for nearly every single cell in your body to be replaced. Think about that. The physical you sitting here right now is made of almost completely different stuff than the you from 7 years ago. And you know what? What's true for your body is absolutely true for your mind. Are your thoughts, your values, your opinions the same as they were 10 years ago? Heck no. Your taste in music, your political beliefs, how you react to things, all of it is just as fluid and changing as yourself. So, this leads us to a really mind-bending question. If your body is always changing, and your thoughts and feelings are always changing, where's the fixed, permanent you? Where's the me that stays the same through all of this? This, right here, is where we get to the root of so much of our stress, our anxiety. Our brain creates this incredibly convincing illusion of a solid self, and we end up suffering from a classic case of mistaken identity. So what exactly is this illusion? It's really simple, but it's also incredibly profound. It's the mistake we make when we take a temporary, passing experience, a thought, a feeling, a sensation, and we slap a permanent label on it, the label of me. Let's walk through how this happens, because it happens all the time. A feeling comes up, let's say sadness, totally normal. But then our mind grabs it and says, this is my sadness. See the little shift? And from there, it's a tiny leap to total identification. I am a sad person. We've just turned a passing cloud into our permanent weather forecast. And all the pain comes from clinging to or fighting that new fixed identity. The change in how you talk to yourself here it's subtle, but it changes everything. I am an anxious person. That feels like a prison sentence, right? But what about anxiety is a feeling passing through me? See the difference? Now the anxiety is just a cloud passing through the huge open sky of your awareness. It isn't the sky itself. So if grabbing on to a fixed idea of me is the trap, then learning to let go, that's the key to freedom. And embracing this idea of being a flow, a process, it's not just some cool mental trick. It has real practical benefits that can change your daily life. And the payoff? It's huge. I mean, think about it. When you stop seeing yourself as this static thing you have to protect, a lot of anxiety and stress just melts away. Setbacks aren't a final judgment on who you are anymore. They're just a bend in the river. You can be kinder to yourself. You're way more okay with change, and you're finally free to just live in the moment instead of constantly managing this fragile idea of yourself. This is such a relief. Seriously, just think about how much energy we burn defending our ego, trying to prove we're smart enough or successful enough or good enough. When you realize that the self you're defending is more like a fluid story and less like a stone statue, all that exhausting work can just fall away. This completely rewrites your inner monologue. So instead of that crushing thought, I'm a failure, which defines your entire being, you can reframe it. I'm experiencing a temporary setback. One is a life sentence, the other is just a moment in time. So, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway here is a whole new way of seeing yourself. You are not a statue, carved in stone, rigid, unchanging. No, you are a poem, a story that is constantly flowing, always being written with new words and new lines appearing in every single moment. You're fluid, you're dynamic, you're just alive with possibility. And that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. If your story isn't set in stone, if you are the one writing the poem, what will you write for your next verse?